Muy buenas noches a todos ustedes que nos siguen por la red y gracias por pasarla con nosotros. Esto es el show de fútbol mexicano en vivo. Yo soy el servidor Wiso Vázquez y le doy la bienvenida a mis colegas que por ahora están un poquito asombrados y creo que un poquito nerviosos porque vamos a hacer el show hoy completamente en español, dedicado al grito de la independencia que va a dar en unas cuantas horas. Se va a dar. ¿Cómo estamos, Johnny? ¿Cómo estamos, Nayib y César? En este día para el fútbol.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. I am Wiso. For those of you who do not speak Spanish, that you're watching the show right now, we throw a little joke in there for some of you who speak Spanish. I had a little tweet saying that FX spoke Spanish. But welcome to another live show where we currently have 0 viewers. People are watching Monday Night Football or something's happening. But you can always watch this on tape delay because it'll be on another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. Like to welcome you to, here's our guys that are going to be on tonight. It's a different cast. I don't think we've had these guys on for a while, especially Johnny and Nayib. But first, I want to congratulate Cesar for his great coverage with the national team about a week ago. I had the chance to meet him in San Francisco and also, well, in his hometown, Santa Clara, San Jose, Santa Cruz. How are you, Cesar? What's new? Looking amazing with the 98 jersey, one of the favorites for sure. Check it out.
Yeah.
Right now. Cesar, how are you doing?
Obviously, this is a fake. I mean, the more you look at it, the more you realize it's like a cheap replica. But I still love this jersey. I'm doing well. I felt the jersey was appropriate. I feel like my arms still hurt a little bit, from when we were at Santa Clara, and I decided when we got that idea of live streaming everything, and I was carrying on the laptop everywhere, looking like an idiot.
That jersey kind of makes me want to start singing "Mexico, let's go, Mexico, let's go."
All right, obviously, not Johnny, who hasn't been on the show in quite a while. Johnny in Tijuana, San Diego. How are you, sir? What's new?
Heat's pretty new. It's been pretty hot out here. I have no idea how you guys live in Arizona. Honestly, don't know how you do it.
People think I know people say it's a dry heat, but at the same time, nobody's outside. It is nice and cool in this room especially. It's freezing in movie theaters, in banks, and everywhere it's cold. We have a lot of AC, but yes, when you're outside, everything sweats.
Yeah.
And obviously, from, I think, Houston, right, Nayib? Is it Houston?
Yeah,
yes, right Houston, who was in obviously in Spain for a while with Fox Deportes. Nayib Moran contributes a lot, especially with the Europeos. A great source. If you're not following him, definitely follow at Nayib Moran. Nayib, what's new, sir? How are you?
No, good. So it's I'm wearing blue in honor of Querétaro signing Ronaldinho today. But I mean, I think it's been good. I mean, I think this weekend was pretty nice seeing Raul and Chicharito playing in the Madrid derby. It's always good to see Mexican players be in such an important game internationally. What's also ironic is that it's forwards, and right now there's not that many forwards in Mexico that are scoring goals. And we'll talk a little bit more about it as the show goes on. But it's interesting, we had two Mexican forwards in a big match, but there's not that many Mexican forwards that are nailing with the goals in Mexico right now.
Yes, especially with what's been happening. Well, welcome everyone. So we have a couple of viewers, 10 viewers right now. So I'd like to welcome all of you that are on the chat. Definitely ask us, chat along. We'll be talking. Cesar will be looking and chatting with you guys. So is I think Johnny is also on there. Yes, Tom Marshall had the night off. He's gonna go party today in El Grito. So it'll be fun times for him. He has a night off. I know that he has worked hard, especially with what his travels are and the coverage it would have. But we have a great show for you today. Definitely talking all about Ronaldinho and the controversy that's going on right now with some racist tweets, Facebook comments from a politician. We'll be discussing lightly, not giving it so much attention, but at the same time, it's worth to mention. Also talking about the big game over the weekend, if you didn't watch, obviously Raul Jimenez versus Chicharito, Atleti versus Real Madrid, in what was a great game in my opinion, but not a great game as a Mexican fan, I would have to say. And then obviously Liga MX, our reactions from the Mexico friendlies, and much, much more. So let's get right to it. First of all, like I said, let's talk about what the Mexican politician Miguel Trevino, that has allegedly called, well, pretty much did call Ronaldinho the word monkey, or translate to ape, after I guess he couldn't get home in the traffic jam caused by Ronaldinho's presentation. He quotes the Facebook comment quoted, "I seriously try to be tolerant, but I hate soccer and the idiotic phenomenon it produces. I hate it even more because people get in the way and flood the streets, making me take up to 2 hours just to get home. By then, all right, so you don't like soccer, that's fine, you're talking about it in Facebook comment." But then he added, "And all just to see a monkey, a Brazilian monkey, but a monkey nonetheless. Has become ridiculous circus." Guys, obviously this is what's making the news right now, which is shameful, with this racist comments that we had from this person who a lot of people don't know. I guess he was some kind of social director in Querétaro. Also, about 5-6 years ago, was with the PAN, with the party, which is the National Action Party in Mexico. So big news. Is it because he's political? Because he's nowhere in the soccer scene. So I'll take it up. Naib, obviously in the news a lot. What's your take on this story, and obviously the embarrassment that is for this guy who had horrible comments to say?
Yeah, I think I mean, it's unfortunate. It kind of puts a little bit in perspective that some politicians really are not educated in a way. You know, it's kind of sad because Ronaldinho hasn't even played a single minute in Mexican football yet. There's already a racism case that is, you know, I think it's gotten a little bit out of control because the media gave more attention to Carlos Trevino. I mean, Carlos Trevino before this comment was nobody. I mean, he was a politician. No one knew about him. And now, you know, he comes into the scheme of things because of this comment that he made. I mean, it's a bit unfortunate because I think, you know, you don't want a racism action of this sort to occur in this important moment in Mexican football, because I think Ronaldinho is been in the last, I'd say, 10 years or so, has been the most important, or perhaps the most important
ever
foreigner to come to the league.
Yeah, definitely right up there with those, especially since he's not anywhere. I mean, if it was someone, a coach, someone tweeting this out, I mean, obviously, and we're part of the media, giving it some you know, light into it and what happened.
Yeah.
He's not even been a politician for 6 years. He's had some other, you know, tweets or, you know, comments. I think we're just kind of appalled by it, that it's so fast and giving Mexico a bad name and what's happening. Johnny, what's your take? Obviously, you hear it. You're in Tijuana. Did it make big news over there?
Yeah, it made big news everywhere. I mean, I remember I was out you know, Sunday dinner with my family. I saw the tweet on my phone and like, oh, gotta get to a laptop, gotta start working, because, you know, comments like that can't go unnoticed. I mean, sure, Naib says this guy is, you know, he's correct. He was a Mr. Nobody before these comments, but those type of comments cannot go, you know, cannot be just left alone. You know, people need to make a big deal. Racism is a big deal. A big deal needs to be made so things like this don't happen ever again. And, you know, the weird thing in all of this, you look at his Twitter feed. He sent out a couple of apologetic tweets this morning, which, of course, are not sincere. You scroll down in his timeline, and you see, you know, he's got a big personal vendetta against soccer. And, you know, the one tweet for the apologies was from months ago when he was criticizing Mexicans for screaming out "puto" during the World Cup. You know, he ended a tweet saying, "Where are the morals?" So it's a bit ironic there.
Yeah, and you've seen him already in the TV. The guy, if there's ever been an apology by someone, this guy is apologizing like no other. It'll go away. He'll be forgotten in a little while. I think it's just there, especially he came out the next day, not only apologizing, but he's saying that he will kneel, in front of Ronaldinho, and he was idiotic. I mean, his apology was maybe not sincere, but at least given the benefit of the doubt that he's taking credit for his stupidity. Yeah. He obviously, when someone says, "Are you racist?" It's like, I'm not racist. He is a professor at a university with, I think, U.S. studies, and he was, obviously quoting Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. It's pretty embarrassing, especially with what it is. Yes, maybe because he's a politician, it kind of went down there, but just like Johnny said, obviously unnoticed. Cesar, you're in Northern California. Did it reach over there, and what's the news status on what you saw?
It most definitely did reach over here. I mean, Ronaldinho coming to the Liga MX, of course, that gave it a lot of attention. And of course, when that comment comes out too, that gives it just as much attention. I don't know, I kind of wonder, like, even though he's a small-time politician, like, what was the thought process going on there that he's like stuck in traffic and he's like about to make like a post and like it's just ridiculous. He'd be like, all right, time to make some stupid like racist comment right now, and also once again hate on soccer. Like, even if you're a small-time politician, I'm just wondering about the thought process from the guy at that point.
He did say that he was either stuck in traffic, and also the cab driver was, also saying some stuff infuriating him, and he just kind of went off on what to say that. But
I don't care if the cab driver punched him. It doesn't.
Yeah. Not only, I mean, that's not excusing his action, but not only did he say, oh, this monkey. No, he was like 3 times. He let everyone know his thoughts on Ronaldinho, on what it is. So definitely, it does bring all of us in all of Mexico, and obviously, especially with Mexico and a lot of people that do not live in Mexico that are watching the show, the racism is everywhere, especially in Mexico. You see that everywhere on how it is with some derogatory terms that are said loosely. So obviously we do not condone that, but definitely a dark spot over the weekend with so much news and what happened. But we have to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's apologizing, and he's coming out saying that he was idiotic and stupid in what he said. So we'll see where this kind of story goes. But it just adds, obviously, to the Ronaldinho coming in and how huge it was, and this small time, politician from 6 years ago tweets something out and it just explodes. If he would have said that about another player, would have been that big, or if somebody else tweets. I'm sure there's racist tweets all the time, but we see that because in the media. So I'll let Naib have the last word on this issue. Anything else that you'd like to add, Naib?
Well, I think, based on this situation, I think what we just had to wait is to see Ronaldinho play, and I think shouldn't be bothered about this. I mean, I think as a journalist, I wouldn't go up to Ronaldinho and ask him, what are your thoughts about these comments? That's what. I think we should just enjoy the fact that he's in Mexico.
And it will happen.
And it will happen, I know. But he's going to play against Chivas, so Estadio Ni Life is actually going to be filled up this weekend probably, which is something that we never see.
Which to add, the prices went up in Chivas, in the Chivas Stadium, Omni Life, right?
So I think enjoy his football. I think that's the thing, and it's unfortunate that this event occurred. But as Johnny pointed out, something that has to be shown in the media, because this just can't happen. Yeah. I mean, FIFA always says say no to racism, so we got to make sure that doesn't happen in Mexico.
Very good, very good. All right, well, let's turn the page. Obviously, enough spent on this topic. Let's talk about, which I think probably the biggest story. First, let me ask all three of you, what was the biggest story over the weekend? Pick one, the big story of the weekend. For me, I'll let you kind of see yours first to see if it was. So go ahead and give it some thoughts. I already see Cesar thinking, grabbing his beard. Johnny already has his ready to go, and I'm sure Naive has already talked about it. By the way, is that a champion soccer ball up in the corner that you have over there?
It is.
It is. It's very nice. Very nice. All right, Cesar, you're done pondering. Story for you this weekend.
I should say maybe the canceled game between Monterrey and Chivas, but I'm going to say the highlight, including today, was watching Rafael Marquez playing right next to Rafael Marquez, right next to each other in Verona.
Obviously added that. Very good highlight. Johnny Rico, what was your highlight for the weekend and why?
I hate to be technical, but we still said the weekend. Does Monday count as a weekend? Cause
to Cesar it does, because this guy does, I think it's his day off on a Monday, right, Cesar?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I have the day off today. So
I think that's why it's still
well, for me, it's not a highlight, but it's more of an alarming fact that the best offense in Mexico, Club America, with 16 goals, has not scored a goal in three entire matches. Yeah, 270 minutes. Yeah, that's very worrying. I knew we shouldn't have sold. I knew we shouldn't have sold Raul Jimenez.
He's still tied for third for goals scored this season.
Very nice. Naib, what was your story for the weekend?
Oh, it's there were so many, I think, but I mean, if I had to pick, I mean, I think I have like two. I mean, I liked Irving Lozano's goal. You know, I think I tweeted
Yeah.
that out. That was something special to see. I mean, he's pretty young, and I think when you see them, when you look to the team that's going to represent El Tri in the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, it's looking pretty solid. I mean, I think that's a good sign. And then Tecatito scoring and assisting in the Netherlands is also big news. I think looking to the future, I think I would have to put those two together. And of course, the Madrid derby was pretty special.
Yes, for me, the highlight, it doesn't happen very often. Maybe other great goals happen every weekend. Maybe, obviously, an offense not scoring in 3 or 4 games happens, but seeing, obviously, Chicharito, seeing Raul Jimenez in the derby, coming in and out for that 4, 6 to 10 seconds they were on the field, I thought that was awesome. I thought that, it feels good. Even though maybe they didn't have the greatest of games, I thought that was my highlight, obviously, watching that and for the game. So let's stop. Let's go into that right away. I'm hosting, so let's go into that topic. I'll have that on what we can say. So your thoughts, which came to be a I don't think we should say it was a bad weekend for the Europeo, especially with Raul Jimenez and Chicharito. Maybe a little disappointing, not on what we're used to seeing. I think it has to be mentioned that when a Mexican was on the field, they were the underdogs, regardless of what team you were on. We're cheering for Raul. They scored. Real Madrid score. We're all waiting for him to score one time. He comes out. Chicharito comes in. Atleti automatically becomes a better team. It's like we're always searching, like, can we give our Mexicans, some love, especially since they're the underdogs. But Naib, you follow closely. You lived it. You were there for a year in Spain. How huge was this game? And now the new Atleti, Cholo Simeone, who I have to say is probably a top 5 coach in the world right now, and obviously seeing Raul Jimenez start was huge. So Naib, take it away.
Yeah, I think the game. I mean, the start. He basically started training with the first team since Wednesday. So there was a lot of rumors suggesting that that Mandzukic and Griezmann were gonna be the starters. And so with the fact that he was the starter on Saturday was big news. I mean, I think it shows that Raul Jimenez is understanding Simeone's message during the training. And I think also what I've noticed during the game is that the criticism was high on him because he was losing balls, not so sharp on the pass. But I think you also got to praise what he did on the defending Cruz and Modric and not allowing them to reach the area for Madrid, because I think, yeah, Real Madrid had a little bit of control after the first goal of Atleti in the first half, but it was mainly Cristiano Ronaldo that was doing the damage. I think if players like Modric and Cruz would have participated, it would have been a little bit more worrying. But much in part was due because Raul and Mandzukic were defending pretty well on the defense. They were doing a lot of defense work, and that didn't permit Raul to show in the offense. I think when Arda Turan and Griezmann come in, that's when you see a little bit of more idea on the attack for Atletico, which wasn't there in the beginning of the game. But in general, I think it was good for Raul to have this experience playing in Santiago Bernabéu against Real Madrid. And with Chicharito, it was actually kind of difficult for him to do something because not much passes came in. And also worth mentioning that the miss that Benzema had in the first half, that could have well been the 2-1 for Real Madrid. That's a miss that, will be remembered, and you could ask, like, oh, well, what if Chicharito was there? Would he have scored that? So a lot of thoughts coming to mind.
Yeah, I think Griezmann actually, he definitely provided a good catalyst, for the attack. But I will say that, I don't think either Chicharito or Jimenez had that good of a game, but I still think it's way too early in the season, and it's way too early. I mean, Chicharito was only on there for maybe 20-something minutes. It's way too early to make conclusions at the moment. And I think taking a step back, even considering that those two were on the field, together for like 4 seconds, but the fact that they both got to play is I think that's very significant right now for Mexican soccer. And I still think, regardless of how they played, it's like I said, still early in this season. It's still very, very massive for them and also for fans as well.
Johnny?
Well, I have to admit, since America did lose Raul Jimenez, it's good to see him at least get some playing time. So it was nice seeing him out there on the field. It's nice to see his team winning. There was a little bit of a hidden America versus Chivas here, and the America player won. So that always brings a little happiness.
You can always go
But
back to the America and Chivas rivalry with Johnny Rico.
always, yeah. No, but you know what? I think Chicharito has a lot more work to do in front of him because that's a struggling team. That team is basically got to rebuild entirely. Raul Jimenez is stepping into a team that has a good foundation, had a great season last season, and he's kind of an added piece to an already well-oiled machine. Chicharito's going into a freshly built team that's gonna take some time to get used to each other.
Yes, that Real Madrid, and we mentioned it on the show before, losing Xavi and obviously Angel Di Maria. I know it reminds me of that Galactical team, 2003, 2004, early when obviously their mid started disappearing. Makelele, I'm sorry, leaving. And it's a little bit. We'll see what happens, obviously, with Real Madrid and what did. I like to just kind of point out, obviously, I saw, and I'll be the first one to critique. I saw Raul Jimenez a little slow, maybe a little bit out of rhythm, which I'm not saying that he should be fully in rhythm in what it is. He's only been there for less than a month, but I saw him just a bit slow and a little bit out of the rhythm. I think he had a shot where it was just a little bit weak. But if obviously his teammates were doing better than him, then I would be. When he was on, then I would say, you know what, he's not meant for it. But when he was on, there was nothing coming in. Obviously, Cholo Simeone's subs made the difference, and the team won. I know that you were mentioning, Naib, about obviously all the plays that they were working on during the week, working on corner kicks, working on set plays that he was involved in, and obviously having the height. That's what Cholo Simeone was going for, correct?
Yeah. I think that was one of the keys for his start, and also it's good that you point out the critique, because I think over there in Spain there's I don't know, I get the sense. I wrote a piece in Spanish a while ago on my blog today, saying that I think that the critique is too severe on Raul Jimenez. And it started being severe since those tweets that came out that he was a Real Madrid supporter and blah blah blah. And I think the fans from Real Atletico Madrid see Raul with a really strict eye, and it's, I think, a little bit exaggerated. I think Raul is coming into the European football. He's getting used to the speed of the game, and I think it just takes time. But that he will be looked on with a really close eye from the fans, and see how well he responds. Because at the end of the day, he's a forward. And a forward, Raul is a different kind of forward, that he's always supported players like Chucho Benitez and stuff. But the fan wants to see goals from Raul. And I think once he scores that will be really good for him.
Yes, especially with I think the critique is there, but I'm just noticing it, which is okay for coming into the league and being, starting on the second game in one of the biggest games, especially in the Derby, at the biggest stage against one of the biggest teams. So it's not that we're saying that he should be already in rhythm, but it was worth noting. I thought Chicharito on the other side was fine. He was doing his same old Chicharito. Didn't have any plays where he should have made it or anything like that. He didn't have anything. I think his best. I think there was just a pass towards James that he tried to run and try to get into. The only thing I noticed is Chicharito making these runs, and the team has to get used to also Chicharito. They're not used to someone making those runs, and I kept an eye on him, and it looked like they were not ready also. And on some of them, they were coming into him. So I think the team is there. I think it says a lot that Chicharito played, especially with with all the critiques. Is he going to get playing time? There's other Benzema. He's not just competing with Benzema. Obviously, it is scheme. So we'll see what's going on. Any last thoughts, Cesar or Johnny, about Raul and Chicharito?
Chicharito looks pretty good in Real Madrid jersey, doesn't he?
I think he looks like a little kid. I'm not gonna, okay, come on, raise your hand if you don't think he looks like a little kid. Like the kid, like everyone's. I saw this picture of all the guys, and it looked like Cristiano Ronaldo was like in like a speedo. But I mean, his legs, everyone's all huge, and then there's little Chicharito. But Johnny, any last thoughts on Raul or Chich?
Yes. Let's. I think we should measure our expectations with Raul Jimenez. This is his first season in Europe. It's gonna take him a year or two. Chicharito has been there for over 4 years now. I think I think once the whole team adapts itself to the new system, to the new year, I think Chicharito will have a slightly better year than Jimenez will. Jimenez is a starter now, but I don't see him being a starter all season. But he just needs that playing time, Jimenez, and the playing time that he's getting is it's good to build on. So kind of let's measure our expectations with Jimenez. Chicharito will start producing as well. Giving him a couple weeks, but so good seasons to come from both of them.
Yeah, hopefully. I think Jimenez might be playing tomorrow. I mean, who knows? The lineup's going to be out tomorrow morning, but I think Naib said that. But yeah, they're going to be playing in the Champions League tomorrow against Olympiacos. So I think that would be a pretty good chance for him to get some minutes.
Olympiacos. Who used to play in that? Neri Castillo.
Yeah, and supposedly Pulido was going to arrive there, but he never did.
Hey,
Pulido's in Monaco right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Pulido's in Monaco.
Pulido's getting his law degree with all the lawyers he's hanging out with.
Pulido and what his travels. All right, well, looking at the chat, welcome everyone. We have 18 people just chatting away. Recognize a few of our, I know definitely Guelito71, who is always tweeting. I think he's part of the Pancho Villa's army here in Phoenix. If that's not true, then I'm really sorry if it isn't. But he asked a question that said, who's going to do better? Let me get to it really quickly. Better overall this year, Jimenez or Cheech?
I tried to answer that.
Yes, yeah, you did.
That's actually where. Yeah, that's where I got my material from.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, thank you, commenters. Keep giving us questions because we can get some material here.
Yeah, that gives us the material for us to ask. So really quickly on the chat, people's reactions. Who'll do better? Cesar Avellan. Yeah, League One is completely different. League One, I guess James needs a time to get used to it, but there would be better coming off the bench. Talking about James. Jimenez slightly better. I think, that's yours, Johnny. Chicharito will have a better season by the end of the year. J. Picasso, better overall this year. Give Jimenez a year or two. Johnny just kind of responding. Definitely come on and talk to us and ask us questions. And the conversation keeps going. I see Aquino, I see Vela, and it's going pretty fun out there. So I know Cesar will keep an eye on it, keep responding, and Johnny will also be talking there. But let's move on. Or I'll ask it to you guys. I know I asked Tom last week, but who will have a better year? Chicharito or Raul? Naib?
I think just going on the lines with what Johnny said, is the experience that Chicharo has playing already in the grand stage. I mean, let's not forget that Chicharo was influential in the Manchester United team that reached that Champions League final in Wembley against Barcelona. And coincidentally, Manchester United eliminated Carlo Ancelotti's Chelsea. And now Carlos Ancelotti has Chicharito in Real Madrid. So I mean, there's a past between both the player and the coach playing against each other, but now they're in the same team. Raul doesn't have the experience. Raul's advantage is that he's arriving in a team that's already well made. He's being coached, in my opinion, by the best coach in Europe right now, which is Cholo Simeone, and that's a big win. Whatever he can learn from a coach like Cholo Simeone will be gold for Raul from now to the end of his career, I think, because there's not that many coaches in the world that see football like Cholo and Mono Burgos, who was the guy that was as a coach because Simeone got booked the red card in the Supercopa, so he was on the high end. But Burgos and Simeone see the game differently from this modern type of football that's really fast-paced and so forth. And I think by the looks of it, if Raul is starting right now, it's because he's getting something in the training, and they're seeing that he's capturing the idea right away. And that's really big news.
Good. Cesar,
yeah,
Chicharito or Raul?
I guess it depends on the way that you look at it. I think, obviously, I think we still need to wait for Jimenez to make a little bit more of a transition. Like we all said, he just made the move over recently. But I think he's going to get more playing time. But I think at the same time, I think Chicharito is going to score more goals. I think he's probably going to score like maybe a few more goals than Jimenez by the end of the season. But you never know. Like, I mean, as we mentioned, like, Simeone and a couple of the other players or the coach and a couple of the other players were giving him some compliments like immediately after he arrived to the team. And as we've mentioned, if he's already getting playing time now, perhaps he is going to be a huge factor for Atletico Madrid going in the future. But I still think I think in the end, I think Chicharito is going to be scoring a couple more goals. But I think that in the end that Jimenez might get more playing time, but maybe not score nearly as many.
Very way to put it. It's not necessarily about scoring the goals, maybe more playing time, and obviously the impact that they have on that team. And obviously, Johnny, who will have a better season in your eyes?
Like I said, I think by the end of the season, Chicharito will have the better season. He'll get a few more goals. I even think by the end of the season, Chicharito will have a bit more playing time. Right now, I think Jimenez is in an adaptation phase, and I think that Cholo Simeone is being smart and giving him those minutes to get him adapt as soon as possible. But I also think it's going to take Jimenez a year to get fully in that European rhythm. So my bet's with Chicharito.
Nice, very nice. I keep thinking about this, and I really don't know. I think it's just a shot in the dark saying that who would do both, because I think you obviously get more minutes from what we saw Raul starting, and obviously Chicharito, his ability to score and what he has because of the tournaments and different names. So if I had to lean one way, obviously Chicharito scoring, but maybe who would be more impact for the team, kind of what Cesar would say, copying pretty much what you said, is obviously Raul having a better season and staying longer, and we'll see how that goes. So good to hear from you guys. I know that we'll be looking at there are Champions League games tomorrow, and both Atleti and Real Madrid are playing. Will we see them? Will we see either of them play? Cesar, you were mentioning it, that obviously the lineups will be coming up. We won't see, but is it a surprise if Raul starts over again, Naib?
I wouldn't be a surprise, but right now what I see coming is that Simeone wants to see a little bit more a lineup that includes Arda Turan and Antoine Griezmann from the start, and that might mean that Raul Jimenez might have to start the game on the bench. I think it's a different Atletico de Madrid this season because they don't have a Diego Costa, who Diego Costa in 4 games in the Premier League has 7 goals. The first player to ever do that. I think that's a big miss for the team, and they're kind of reinventing their attack. Their defensive tactics are pretty much the same from last season, but offensively, they brought in this Alessio Cerci from Italy as well, who is good on the wings. But I think what impressed Cholo and his coaching staff was that end in Santiago Bernabeu, and they probably would want to see a little bit more of it against Olympiacos in Greece. So I think a start, I see it unlikely right now.
No, like Naeem said, I do agree. Like I think Griezmann had a really, obviously he was a catalyst at the very end. So we may not see Jimenez get some play time. I think maybe we'll see him get some play time at the very end. But I think the main thing is, I think Chicharito, hopefully, I have my fingers crossed. I'm guessing he's going to get some serious amount of playing time tomorrow, and I hope that this will be, because I don't think the last game was really that good of a debut. He wasn't given enough time, but this time against, I think it's against
FC Basel.
Yeah, Basel. That's right. I wrote it down here, Basel. I was about to say basil. That's something I eat. But but I think I think that'll be his true audition. Fingers crossed he's going to get the start. And I don't know. We'll see what we can do. And luckily, like as we mentioned before, I think the good thing for Chicharito, and I know a lot of people made that argument, he made the move from one bench in Manchester United to the other bench in Real Madrid, which is completely untrue because Manchester United isn't taking part in nearly as many competitions as Real Madrid. And I think this will be right here. It's Chicharito's reason for going to Real Madrid is for taking part in games like this. So we'll see what happens. I hope he does well though.
Johnny, would it be same question to you? Would it be a surprise if we see either in play, maybe a start, or who you see tomorrow?
Surprise? I don't think so. I mean, they're in these teams because they've earned it. So, we've seen Raul Jimenez get the start in the 2 league games. So, it would not be a surprise for me to see him play. I don't expect Raul Jimenez to go all 90 minutes. That's for sure. And also Chicharito, it wouldn't be a surprise to see him start. Benzema's not putting in the goals, so why not? So I don't necessarily expect to see them in the starting lineup, but it would definitely not be a surprise for me.
Wow, saying that Chicharito maybe a starter, which would be should be great, especially in a Champions League coming up.
And I think it's important to mention the state that Real Madrid is in right now is really uncomfortable because, as we talked in the beginning, I mean, it's a team that basically got changed, like Johnny was saying, and we saw too. Not having Di Maria and Xavi Alonso changes the team a lot. And they got to get a win. I mean, they lost against Real Sociedad de Anoeta. Carlos Vela scored in that game. And then they lost against Atletico in Santiago Bernabéu. So, I mean, they got to get the win. I mean, I think never in the history of Real Madrid have they opened a Champions League group stage match in Santiago Bernabéu and lost. So, I mean, if a tie or a loss comes tomorrow, it will erupt, I guess.
Wow, this is a team that won the Champions League, especially, and I mean, looking at the team that they have, it's kind of hard to believe that they're at this stage of not winning, especially with the superstar that they have. Well, let's switch it up. Obviously, keep it in the Europe sense, los europeos. Seguimos con la transmisión de aquí del fútbol mexicano en el show, talking a little more in Spanish there. For you guys, for being the 15th of September and the eve of El Grito that's be happening. Happy Mexican Independence Day for those that are watching.
I'm sorry, what did he say? Who hit the SAP button on this?
We will continue. All right.
We should all take a shot of tequila right now. Find some tequila somewhere in your house and just like take a shot right now.
Monday.
Right here.
Tequila on Monday. All right, Cesar, I definitely bring you up, especially with the Europeos that are happening. Tecatito, let's talk about the big story of the Europeos having an amazing game. Probably, I know that you wrote for Food Next Source. Obviously, be patient, but also tell us a little bit about what's happening with this talented player. Who is he still overweight, or he's lost the pounds?
Here's an interesting situation with Tecatito. Is over the summer he showed up overweight, however much that may be for a soccer player. So. And then apparently there's reports.
Apparently, Moises Munoz is also overweight, and people are giving him crap. I saw that guy in San Francisco. The guy's, I don't think he's overweight. Anyway, sorry, Cesar, go ahead.
we're probably all overweight in soccer standards. But anyhow, but I'll say it was obviously exciting. He played a great game. I watched it. He was not like he scored. He had an assist, and then like he was that guy was just, I think, tenacious. I guess was like the best way of describing his performance. He was out there like stealing balls as well. But I think something that we need to be careful of is that the exact same thing happened last year, where immediately when he showed up, he scored a goal. And then afterwards, we all started freaking out. We're like, oh my God, he immediately scored a goal on his season debut for the team. What's going to happen? What happened was he didn't score until like months later at his last game of the season. So I think that's just something we need to be careful of. But I think we still need to remember that. Remember, he wasn't. He didn't have the best introduction into the team this season, and even though he once again, he had a great performance, and the coach was giving him, and he made it into into the Eredivisie like best 11 of the weekend as well, which is impressive. But I think we need to be careful because who knows what will happen? Because I remember feeling the same exact thoughts like almost exactly a year ago, and then he ended up just underperforming. So we'll see what happens with him.
From the chat, we have Jay Picasso saying obviously he should be playing for La Liga right now since he helped Córdoba get there, and they sent Chelsea an offer and declined it. Naive, what are your thoughts?
I think you're talking about Uli Davila.
Is that what they're talking about? Ulises Davila?
Uli Davila, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. They're talking about the Chelsea. I'm trying to get this chat angle going around. That was my bad.
Wait a second.
Getting material from the chat. You got to know how to do it.
It's because you have to go back and forth. And the funny thing is that on the chat, there's this guy that confused Tecatito, and everyone just went, that's not him. And I was like, yeah, that's not him. And now I'm confusing it myself. This is what happens when you're trying to multitask in the task. And I'm sure that's coming up soon. All right, Naive, Tecatito, what he's doing, obviously big things, scoring in the way he did with his 2 assists.
Just following the Tecatito news, I think it's a guy that went from Rayados to the Netherlands, and I think that was a big move in the beginning. There was a lot of talk about, whether if Rayados was going to let him go and so forth. He's now in Europe. It's his second kind of year accommodating to the league. I think it's just about patience, about following and see. where he goes. He's a player that's going to be influential, maybe in the Copa America if El Tri takes two national teams, and that national team that goes to Copa America is more thinking about Rio de Janeiro in 2016. I think that's what comes to mind. About just Uli Davila, I mean, I've seen his two games in Liga Adelante, against Girona, and then this week I saw it against Mirandés. In Tenerife against Mirandés. I think a Puebla versus Leones Negros might be more fun than the Tenerife versus Mirandés that I saw. No, I'm just saying serious. I mean,
It's Cuauhtémoc Blanco.
Cuauhtémoc Blanco does better stuff.
It's Cuauhtémoc Blanco against Héctor Reynoso. America Chivas.
So, I mean, I think, I saw the game. He's getting playing time, which is important. He's been a starter. Right from the get-go. It is unfortunate that he's not having a playing time with Córdoba, and Córdoba opted not to give him a spot of the extracomunitarios or foreigners because they gave him to other positions on the field. But in Tenerife, at least, what matters is that he's going to get his passport, and that means that he can play wherever the heck he wants in Europe. And he's barely in his early 20s. So I mean, that's big news because he can play wherever the heck he wants, and that way he doesn't have to worry about the passport. We're seeing now with Ochoa how that deal has been working on against him or for him. It's interesting. It will be interesting to see where he goes after this season. I don't think it's going to be Chelsea.
We'll see.
Were we still talking about Tecatito?
No, we're not talking about Tecatito.
You listen, guys. If you didn't know, Ulises Davila's name means little Tecate. Corona. Oh, guys, a lot of confusion going on. But let's keep talking about the Europeos. Now, Cesar, keep over to you. What else happened in the Europeos? Rayo Vallecano, obviously, getting some minutes there. Mr. Aquino. What can you tell us?
No, Aquino's still doing a good job. I think after last weekend, it wasn't nearly as good of a performance as I wanted it to be. But I think the important thing is that he's getting minutes. And I think that was the main reason why he switched over from Villarreal over to Rayo Vallecano, was to get some minutes. It was kind of a scrappy game for him, but I think he still did all right. I guess another news is Jonathan Dos Santos was called up to Villarreal's starting, or not the starter, actually just the roster. He didn't get to play, which kind of bummed me out a little bit.
Jonathan Dos Santos almost plays. That is actually news.
That is, I mean, it's pretty big, especially since we make fun of Chicharito and his bench warming, but I think the king of bench warming will have to have Jonathan Dos Santos. I wrote out Mr. Image himself at obviously taking lots of selfies all the time. He's looking good though. He looks good.
No, with Jonathan, I think a lot of people are already kind of desperate to see him get some minutes, but I think they got to remember that I think Villarreal is a team that has a lot of midfielders, and especially in his position. There's like Tomás Pina, Bruno, Manu Trigueros. They're ahead of Jonathan Dos Santos. And I think we will start seeing Jonathan Dos Santos get playing time in a Copa del Rey match, maybe one of those Europa League matches if one of the main midfielders gets injured. Right now, the fact that he's actually, with legitimate chances to play, is in Barcelona, the legitimate chance was never there, basically.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where Jonathan, when I saw that, obviously, news coming from you, Naib, and Cesar, Jonathan Dos Santos almost playing, coming on the bench. We want to see what this kid has. Like I mentioned before, since I could remember, he was supposed to be the talented one over Gio Dos Santos, but obviously he's taking it, and his injury didn't really help, obviously, with what he's doing. So, anyone else, Cesar, in Europe that we should keep? Any other news that kind of happened?
No, Vela kind of had an average game. Guardado kind of had an average game. Marquez, obviously, the news to me was that Rafael Marquez was playing right next to Rafael Marquez. Unfortunately, though, on the jerseys, it just says R. Marquez, the one with the Z, and then R. Marquez, the one with an S. That'd be kind of cool if they both said.
I'm sure Rafa Marquez one day covered Rafa Marquez logo in Mexico. Right, Johnny?
Rafa Marquez did leave Mexico pretty young, though.
Yeah.
Rafa Marquez Lugo didn't become mediocre player until late in his career.
Mediocre player.
He was. Think about this. Rafa Marquez Lugo used to be worse than what he is today.
Hello, Johnny. This is why we bring him on the show. Lots of, any hate mail to Johnny, please at Johnny Rico, JONYRICO.
Well, that's why it's 2 Twitter accounts. So like you're trying to find, it's like, which one do I comment on? Rah! And then you just don't.
Oh yeah,
You just give up. Yeah.
send all hate mail to Johnny Rico. Johnny Socrates, that's a more professional one. I keep the comments on that one more professional, so no hate mail needs to go there.
No, is that Cesar and his cat? Everyone, he's saying hi.
My cat DJ Cuddles.
DJ Cuddles, lovely.
Because she likes to scratch. And then she scratches.
I just got that.
Clever, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, enough about cats. Let's talk about the Liga MX. Johnny, this is your baby. Liga MX story of the week. I have to say, at least the game in what happened, Monterrey Chivas. No one could believe it on Twitter that it was happening. No one could believe that the game was being played. I think the day before there was a game. There was a American football game, Fútbol Americano, NFL, style for those that don't know, playing, and they canceled that before the game. Obviously, everyone tweeting, why is the game playing after 11 minutes? And it wasn't until an injury that had, which is horrible to say, especially to the player, Armiero, who was coming back, who probably could have been part of the World Cup process, who has been in the Olympics, and now coming back again in the Mexico friendlies, gets injured. Johnny, tell us a little bit about that, and obviously the ref's decision to stop the game so late. Does it have to do with what brings in the money, the broadcast and the television, Johnny?
It's all about the television. Mexican League, they don't like to postpone matches for anything. I wrote an article a few weeks back, about a month back. Mexican League only really postpones matches if you got meaningless friendlies against top European teams in the United States, like Chivas and who else played? Cholos played a friendly against Salt Lake. So yeah, only those games get postponed. So the field was flooded. It was hard to walk, hard to run, hard for the ball to roll. The game got underway. It wasn't until Iran Mier got injured that the referee thought, hey, let's have a discussion. Both captains were in agreement that we should stop the game. The Liga MX commissioner on the field said, whatever you guys want, let me make the phone call to the TV company. And
of course.
And you can clearly see the commissioner grabbing a cell phone, walking away, talking on the phone. And once he hung up the phone, came back to the ref and the 2 captains, okay, we have permission to postpone the match. So it wasn't until the go-ahead from the TV company.
Wow. It's so sad to see. And who do we blame? Do we blame the ref? Is he the one that says, yeah, this has to be stopped, even though the TV companies, they haven't contacted? Because if we remember, this is the same ref about a year ago that also didn't stop a match, and I'm not mistaken, was it Jerry Flores who got injured? So he's had a little bit of a history of not stopping matches when it rains in the game, right?
This is the way things should work. Not the way they work in Mexico, but it should be that the referee is the last word on the field. The referee should have the final say on all decisions on the field. The league commissioner is only there to see that the referee's wishes are carried out. But in Mexico, the league gives all of its power to the TV companies. So that's why you have referees before even blowing the initial whistle for kickoff. You have them, waiting for the go-ahead from the TV company to even start the match. So it's all of the power that the league gives the TV companies.
Yeah. Cesar, I know that you were in tune all week tweeting about the Mexican League. Obviously, first of all, You take a break sometimes, man. I think you tweet about every game that's there. That's I got to give it up to you because I was like, I got to take a break. I think all of Saturday was pretty much done to football and watching games on all of Sunday. But
Ah, that's great. I just wake up. And, oh, by the way, my girlfriend hates me. She hates me so much, but it's awesome. I'm having a good time just watching games. But I mean, it's truly unfortunate. The strange thing is, like, you watch it, like, so you saw images of the field like before the game started, and like immediately what came into my mind is like I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. And I thought it's gonna be a scrappy game. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be like there's gonna be crazy slide tackles and mud everywhere. But as soon as the game started, you realize like this can't go on. Like it wasn't even that. It was enjoyable to watch for about 30 seconds, but then as soon as you could see that no one is able to dribble the ball at all whatsoever, that's when you realize that someone should have called it. And like Johnny said, I do agree that it's unfortunate that, you know, like the ref should have the final say in these situations. That he's the official. That's why he's there. That is what he represents. And it's unfortunate that wasn't the case in that situation. And it's unfortunate too that Mier was injured. And I saw someone right here on the side. I think it was Raul Barraza, and I saw that as well. I saw the report too that said that Mier's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, and that sucks because that shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened at all whatsoever. And it's unfortunate to see that. Hopefully they'll learn better next time.
Here's some live shots of the game. I like to play it, as you can see. A little bit of what happened, if anybody can see. All right, having a lot of fun, obviously.
Watch Mier's watching this. He's like, that's not funny. That's not funny
at all.
Basically, when we think about it, Mier's injury, it means that Miguel Herrera is probably going to have more chances in the October friendlies.
That's a huge, that's a great point. Actually, that's something I didn't think about.
It's actually, I mean, because the competitor in the position right now is Iramir. The thing though about Iramir that I don't like about this whole news, because I think Iramir is a defender that plays well with his feet, a little bit similar to Rafa Marquez. You know, and I think he's just still developing, but this knee injury that just keeps coming up, it's unfortunate, but we'll see. But Miguel Herrera did awesome against Chile as well, so I'm not that concerned that much actually.
Was Miguel Herrera in the Copa Confederaciones with when Neymar went between two? Was that Massa and Miguel? And not Miguel, obviously Massa and Iramir. Was that him?
I think it was Iramir. Yeah, it was Iramir.
Yeah, for some reason I have that thought. All right. What other games, Johnny? Tell us highlights for this weekend. Your America not scoring for 3 games. Is it a concern, especially Leones Negros? Leones Negros did beat the champions, just FYI. So.
Well, no. Here's the concerning part. An offense as weak as Chivas puts 3 past Leones Negros, and then the best offense in the Liga America can't put 1 past them. That's
Liga MX, ladies and gentlemen, the Liga MX.
That's where the frightening material comes in. Like, America should be beating this team 3-4-0 minimum, and you know it's hard to believe they didn't. So America, I don't think they'll finish top of the league. That's okay with me. Top of the league rarely wins the league, so. But they have a lot of work to do. They need to get back to scoring ways, and I think the one way you fix America's offensive problem is you give Michael Arroyo a little more freedom. I think he has way too many defensive responsibilities on the left wing. You cut him loose a bit. You give him that freedom that he kind of had at Atlanta, and he'll start banging in the goals that America needs.
The crazy thing about America, though, is that they've had this slump for 3 games, and they're still in first place. I think I think maybe this highlights the fact of how well they were doing at the beginning of the season, how dominant they were. They're able to have this run of just 3 games where they're literally not scoring for 3 games, but they're still at the very top. So I still think that's something that's very impressive for America.
Can we say something about Oribe Peralta? I mean, obviously not scoring. When was the last time he scored, and is he having a kind of a bad stint, kind of what he had before the World Cup? Johnny.
Oribe, I don't know. Oribe Peralta has seemed a bit lonely at the top of America's formation. You know, after Raul Jimenez left, you kind of left them all alone up there, and I really can't expect Peralta to be carrying the team from the position where he's at. I mean, he's not that type of player. He's not a Cuauhtemoc Blanco to drop further down the field, pick up the ball, and get his teammates to rise their games. He's the striker that knocks in the goals. So I think the America as an attack as a whole needs to improve, and once it does, Oribe Peralta's goal tally will be rising.
Good, good. All right. Any other thoughts about the America? Obviously, anything else that we want to add, especially Leones Negros? We're looking at it. It felt like America lost. Everyone's pretty much took it as a loss, especially against Leones Negros. So I know what that feels like to lose to Leones Negros. So take it.
So why don't we talk about Leon? What are your thoughts on Leon?
Oh my gosh, it's just a debacle what's happening. Leon Santos obviously losing 2-0. Matosas seeing in the team just a complete and utter. I don't even have words to describe it. How angry I am at what was happening. But
Here's the problem with Leon. Matosas has tried to resign about 3 times already, and 3 times they won't let him. So he already went out publicly saying, if Leon doesn't make the playoffs, I'm gone. And I think that's his goal. His goal is to not make the playoffs so he can leave.
I think it was that mixed in with the fact that there's a huge gaping, spot like missing, in Leon backline now that Rafa's gone, and it's been obvious that Matosas has been completely indifferent, like ambivalent about his spot, as a coach. So I think those two together might have been their downfall recently.
Oh yeah, and you're looking at Chapo Montes gone, Britos who had it, Boselli obviously not doing as well as he had. I mean, he's in reinforcement hasn't been working. Yeah, it's all kind of going downhill. Good thing we're not in any place right now to go to descend. Thank God for Chivas and thank God for Leones Negros. Well, at least we'll stay for a while. It'll be interesting to see how bad, obviously the bicampeón, who wasn't not only not dominating. I mean, won it twice, is now just horrendously doing just bad. Other games, it's funny to say that the best game of the weekend was Pumas and Tigres, the 2-2, Memo Vasquez and Tuca Ferretti, but it was obviously 2-0, up 2-0 and then coming back. A great goal, but I think Picolín obviously having some problems there. Cesar,
which Picolín?
On that great goal, but yeah, right. Am I wrong to say that it was the best game of the weekend?
Maybe just the highlight. One of the highlights of my weekend was just watching Edwin Lozano's goal on replay. As I mentioned on Twitter,
there was a lot of ties. There was a lot of ties in the.
Yeah, I think 6 of the 8 games were ties. Yeah.
Looking at the scores, 1-1. Obviously, Puebla Querétaro, with Cuauhtemoc Blanco being the savior in that penalty kick. Who I have not seen Cuauhtemoc miss a penalty kick.
That was a crazy game. Camilo Sanveso puts Querétaro in the lead in the 88th minute. Everyone thinks it's a winner. And you see Ronaldinho kind of be happy that his new team is going to take the win. Now all of a sudden, Cuauhtemoc Blanco just comes up and spoils the party like he loves to do.
He loves it. He's like, so I think they were asking him about, if he does end up playing, what will you say to him? And I think Cuauhtemoc Blanco was like, tal vez le cambie la camiseta. So
he might give Ronaldinho the honor of getting his.
Exactly, Cuauhtemoc Blanco. He's like, Cuauhtemoc Blanco doesn't give the honor to Ronaldinho, give him his shirt. That's awesome. All right.
I think the demo topic is interesting to talk about because in the beginning of the season there was a lot of doubts because of his age.
Exactly.
Is he gonna give a show to the league? I mean, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I mean, seeing all of the Puebla games with Cuauhtemoc has been a real pleasure. I mean, to still see him play, and now even with Chelis, it's just what else do you want? I mean, it's that spectacular.
Yeah, people still keep saying, oh, well, how is that 40-some-year-old player, working, and it changes the offense when he's in, and he keeps on going. So, interesting to see about that. But you were talking about Mr. Lozano's goal, Cesar. You kept shooting it in your head. Describe it. Go ahead.
All right. So the way he did, I mean, it was kind of like Chicharito-esque, where it was like kind of like using random body parts.
The Community Shield goal where he first scored for Manchester United, where it hit I think it hit his feet and then his nose, and then it went in, but obviously Lozano made it a lot better.
So what happened was like so he got the cross. It was like a great cross. I want to say it's from about like 20 yards out, and he went in and it looked like he lifted up his leg for leverage and he headed the ball, but because his leg was in the air, he headed the ball towards his foot and it deflected off his foot and went into goal. Wisa, can you find a replay right now?
I'm trying to find the replay.
Yeah, and of course, like, I know, and I think everybody else knows that he didn't do that on purpose. I highly, highly doubt he didn't do that on purpose, but I like to live in a world, and continue living in this world, where I imagine that he did actually do that on purpose. And he saw the cross, and he was just like, you know what, I'm just going to have like a little bit of an atypical shot here. I'm not just going to head it in, but I'm going to like lift my leg up too, head it to my own foot, and just knock that thing in.
All in there, floating in there. That's what makes it special.
I think that or Pablo Barrera's goal was they're my favorite ones for the weekend.
Yeah, I'm not trying to find it right now, but there's a lot of him scoring against Leon, which I'm not liking. But
hey, you know, Irving Lozano's been on my bad list ever since he made his professional debut, scoring against America, an 88th minute winner for a 1-0 game. So yeah, Irving Lozano's not ranked pretty high with me.
Oh, he's an exciting player to watch.
Go ahead, Naeem.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, with Johnny, the Americanista that he is. But I think Irving Lozano, well, considering I think when you look at the Liga MX right now, I think he's the most exciting Mexican player right now in the league. Well, after Cuauhtémoc Blanco, but
Well, Cuauhtémoc Blanco can win a game being the referee, okay?
But I think Irving Lozano's season has been one that, for me, it's been a pleasant surprise. For the league and for the national team in general.
Trying to see if we can find a goal from Irving Lozano and what he has, and I think I was able to find it. Let me see if that's it. No, that's not it. That's another goal.
I think this is Naib's Twitter account. I've ever seen on Naib's Twitter account.
Everyone, go look at Irving Lozano's goal because it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Any other news on Liga MX? Obviously, lots of ties like you were mentioning. Chiapas Monarcas, Puebla Cholos.
Two coaches debuted. Daniel Travieso Guzman debuted with Tijuana with the 1-1 draw in Pachuca, and Jose Guadalupe Cruz debuted with Morelia.
Okay.
So that's crazy to think about. If I'm not mistaken, I think Batosas is a coach who's been there the longest now, and I think it's only since 2011, right? I don't think there's any other coach that's been there longer, which is kind of ridiculous to think about. Just the fickleness of the Liga MX.
I have some good news, people. I found Irving Lozano's goal.
Nice,
yes.
Nice.
We should have a man of the match for every podcast.
We should.
I think Johnny just got it.
Johnny, go to screen share.
I don't know how to put it on the...
Just put it on the chat. Put it on the chat right now, and I'll put it on there. While we do that, I'll go ahead and just kind of talk. Cesar, tell us about Liga MX really quick before we leave. Sorry. The tournaments that we have, obviously CONCACAF Champions, also kind of the tournaments. So many things that are happening with Mexican clubs.
Yeah, let's see. Tomorrow's the 16th. So we have Chivas and Xolos playing against each other. We have Puebla and Morelia. We also have the CONCACAF Champions League going on this week. We have Cruz Azul versus Chorrillo going on.
Chorrillo.
Get your giggles out now. Chorrillo.
Chorrillo ya le pegó a Cruz Azul. Yeah, Cruz Azul took a 1-0 loss to Chorrillo.
Yeah.
I don't make this stuff up, I swear.
Here it is. I found the goal. Thank you, Johnny. So if we're looking at it...
Oh, full screen. I can't see anything.
Well, I don't think we can full screen.
You can't full screen it?
Yeah, we can full screen it, but it's kind of weird. We're still playing around here on let me see here. Hold on a second. I think I can do it.
If we can get some sponsors on the show, then we can hire someone to be a producer and do all these cool things. Yeah, so...
Here it is. Yeah, you can see my background, my awesome background. Here we go. Go ahead. You guys able to see that? There it is. Bam!
No, it's very bad quality.
Hold on. It's because Johnny's YouTube link was choppy.
Hey,
We
that's
used to-
that's the official Liga MX YouTube channel.
Oh god, don't even get me started with Liga MX and their nonsense of technology with their horrible website. I'm sure if Tom Marshall's watching this, he always complains about the Liga MX website.
That website is pretty awful. I'm not gonna lie.
Let me see if I can get a replay of it at least. There it is. Boom.
Oh, yeah, you can kind of see it. Wait, so you're gonna do any commentary on it?
En español empezando desde la segunda.
Llega al centro desde la banda izquierda, manda centro buscando al Irving Lozano.
Aso.
Very nice to you. Brought to you by the Mexican Soccer Show.
Yeah.
Very fun time.
To 16 people watching right now, you know, if you know somebody who's willing to sponsor, give us a job as commentators.
Yeah, I'm down. I am down. Le quito pintura, gol.
You know what we should do? We should stream live a soccer game. You know, mute the channel and have us call it.
Just have us call it.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to curse? Because there's gonna be a lot of cursing.
All right, guys. Well, it's been a fun show. Naib's kind of like, oh gosh, I'm stuck with these guys. Seriously, I'm a respectable journalist. This is not gonna.
That Cecil guy put up a tweet. Actually, one more thing. I know none of you are going to care, but I think the most interesting find that I have today, and I thought it was very funny, was I was doing research on Villarreal, and I went out because I'm thinking about getting a Gio dos Santos jersey. And I was like, and then on their website, I was like, you have some stuff for sale. All right, let's check this out. So I was checking out their stuff for sale, and apparently on the Villarreal website, you could actually get a thong, like a yellow. For video, guys or girls, so whichever one you would decide. But that's something.
Discrimination.
Yeah, there you go. Just go on the VRL website. You can find it's on sale actually. So now maybe next show I'll just be wearing that. So we'll see what happens.
Wow, that was very good. Well, with that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will go ahead and end this great show. I hope that you had fun. I know we did. Thank you to all that were in the chat. Anything we'd like to highlight, Cesar, on the chat really quick?
I think Cesar, my tocayo, Aveyan, just said, totally my new favorite show.
Awesome.
Can we favorite that thing? I'm going to screenshot and tweet that out all week.
We're going to be doing some interesting thing with the Mexican Soccer Show live. We'll be coming into you before and during the halftime of some of the important games and maybe some post shows. So when you see a link and you see us tweet it out, tweet it out for us, and we'll have a discussion about how great would it be to have all of us be before a game. And I think we'll try to do it this weekend if we can with Chivas and versus Ronaldinho. Which is pretty much why everybody will be watching. So we'll also be doing that with the Mexican national team, getting some coverage. I know some of us travel, so it'd be great to have us on the field or me at the studio with Naib and also Johnny, and having some people on there talking before the game and obviously during the middle. So when you know that we're about to jump on and see the discussion, I think it'll be fun and interactive. Not only that, we have a pre-game and a post-game, and also during the halftime show. Kind of like what Tom did during halftime with the big guys at ESPN in his nice-looking suit, talking to Fernando Palomo.
I got a little bit jealous once seeing that. I want a suit like that.
Yeah, that was a nice suit.
I saw him. Tom, if you're watching, he said his girlfriend, usually packs for him. So good job to his girlfriend, an UADG alumni, which we all know. But Tom couldn't be here. He's taking the week off, like I said, probably at the Grito. But all right, guys. Well, Cesar, leave to you. Any last words? Thank you for joining us. Obviously, have enjoyed watching just this amazing shirt that you have on, even though if it's a replica. Cesar, any last words?
No, just gonna go have some tequila right now, and probably.
Tequila.
Yeah.
Johnny.
No más. Viva México, viva la independencia, viva la patria.
All right. I know a girl named Patria. Go ahead, Naib. Last word.
It's great. It's been a great show here talking with you guys about Mexican football, el mejor del mundo. And I mean,
Yeah,
a big
there you go.
hope all the people take care and have fun. If they're watching us and they're gonna celebrate, you know, it's who cares? It's La Independencia, so it doesn't matter if tomorrow it's a work day.
Yeah,
So,
there you go.
bit of advice: no drinking and riding donkeys. All right, none of that.
Or no drinking and tweeting.
Yeah, I could have learned that one. I feel like a Mexican politician.
No drinking and tweeting. All right, guys. Well, from me, thank you so much for watching. I always have fun with the Mexican Soccer Show. We went a little long, a little bit over an hour, but thank you to the many that were tweeting, and thank you to the many that were on, obviously, on the chat. Keep watching us, keep sharing it, and tweet us your questions for the next Mexican Soccer Show. I'm signing off. I'm Wiesel Vasquez for the Mexican Soccer Show. Have a great day, and Viva Mexico!
Viva!
There it is. There it is. There it is. Have a good day. Night.